Hey folks, I'm Natorius. I'm going to be running Little Nemo the Dream Master, any percent in English here. Game near dear in my heart here. I grew up with this a lot as a kid, have a lot of good memories of it, and glad to showcase this for you guys. So we're going to be starting this off here, and we're going to be starting the timer in 3, 2, 1, go. So the first thing that we're going to do is actually a little bit of the skip here, and we nailed it first try. We want to miss this dialogue because that actually, Flip, who the character is right there, actually spends about like 16 seconds explaining everything about this game. The main objective of this game is trying to collect all these keys while throwing pieces of candy at all these certain animals and taking their abilities. So as you see here, I have the frog suit, which makes me jump rather high rather than what Nemo can jump, which makes it really useful with grabbing some of these keys. So the next one I'm going to grab is this mole, which, as you would think with a mole, he actually digs. So we're actually going to be grabbing a couple keys here, and then despawning here. I'm taking a couple hits here on purpose just to kind of boost forward. We're going to get kind of this frog again. Again, kind of hopping through some of these sections here. Kind of moving pretty nicely. There's a lizard right there. We're not actually not going to use the lizard. Generally, if you're playing this casually, you'd actually climb up this section, but kind of getting into a small window, you can actually kind of use the frog inside the lizards. And there goes the first stage, Mushroom Kingdom. So the one downside about with kind of the speed run is there's a lot of cutscenes that you can't skip the cutscenes. These ones between dreams isn't too bad. However, we're going to probably approach, as we approach Nightmare Land, it's going to be like a 2-minute cutscene, which is pretty rough. So Dream 2 is Flower Garden here. Again, we're going to try to do kind of this cutscene. Oh, we missed the dialogue, that's okay. This one isn't too bad. Again, this is kind of cutscenes that you're kind of doing. You actually have to do this pause strat all the way to about here, which does take a little bit of time. So we're going to use this gorilla here, which the gorilla is kind of neat because you can actually punch things and climb up trees and kind of walls. So we're going to kind of climb up this wall, kind of doing a little bit of a boost here. And we're going to grab this key. We're going to skip this lizard because we're actually going to do a little bit of a strat here. Skipping one section, just trying to get 2 keys in once, which is pretty tricky. We'll see if we can get it this first shot here. That was actually pretty scary, but we made it through, so that's good. So now we're in this bumblebee suit. We're gonna kind of use this bumblebee to kind of fly. Wait for this thing to spawn down. I call those like the cotton balls of hell because they absolutely control you casually and as a speedrun. They can actually boost you forward, and they're not fun at all. So we are actually taking this death on purpose. What it actually does, it spawns us back up here. That's actually the only purposeful death that we're going to be taking here, unless I mess up a couple things, who knows. So we're going to do a little swimming here, and we're going to try this strat out, which we're going to try to boost. And we made the boost, which was nice. And take another damage boost, going through. And there's Flower Garden for you. Again, Mom knocking at her door saying, "Nemo, why are you at the bed? Get back to your room this instant." Yeah, Mom is Arnold Schwarzenegger. All right, so everybody loves speedruns. Everyone loves auto-scrollers. This is an auto-scroller. There's actually a couple in Little Nemo. This is probably the worst of the auto-scrollers. So this, you're on a train. There's a bunch of stuff coming at you. There's blimps, there's planes, there's God knows all the things kind of coming up to knock you down and hit you and everything. So, and taking a death here is absolutely brutal because it starts you right at the beginning of the dream, which is not fun. So we're gonna take that, crouch down here. I kind of like standing kind of in this blue section. This blue section's kind of safe for me. Things can still pop into you, but like this first beginning half, I kind of stand in this kind of blue section. Find a little bit nicer versus like kind of going a little bit more forward here. All right, some more planes, some more blimps dropping bombs at us. And there's gonna be a big jump right there. So if you miss those keys, it isn't actually too bad. You can actually, there'll be some keys at the end of the stage, but it's always good to kind of have that just as a little security here. We want to be really careful on this section because we can actually get bounced up. These planes are really close that we don't want to get bounced up and into the spikes here because that will be an instant death. Again, this stage is probably the scariest, I personally think, in this whole speed run, because taking a death starts right at the beginning, and it's just it's pretty much if you're going for PBs, it's a curse of a run. And there we go. I can breathe a little bit. All right. Mom knocking at her door again. Nemo, what are you doing? Go back to bed. Go to bed now. All right, so Dream 4, we got the Night Sea here, which is a really pretty song. Again, we're gonna try to get this dialogue skip here. There we go, very nice. Took a little extra time, that's okay. So we're actually going to use this hermit crab. This hermit crab actually can dig down to the ground and also can use those little chompers. We're really not going to use this chompers all that much to poke at things. I don't even know how effective it is. I just know he has it. Oh, we took a boost there. That's not too good. There's also this pink fish that you can actually take. We actually don't do it in the speedrun here. We're gonna kind of get to this frog here. Kind of climbing up here. Very nice. So this is actually, I always thought this was really tricky playing this casually. This is like a secret passage and you're just like, why is this a thing? And we need to go through this secret passage because there is one of the keys down here, which is really important to get. So Night Sea has 5 keys that you need to get in order to complete it. Took a hit there, that's not too bad. We got the tadpole here. Let's try to see if we can kind of despawn him a little bit. Just get him out of the way. So there's a way you can kind of despawn it. I don't know quite exactly on how it is. I'm still kind of fresh into learning this run. That's okay. That tadpole can be a real butt, can be a real troll with it. Yeah. Yeah. It's just as bad as the cotton balls and whatnot, so. So we're gonna kind of go through this section part again. It's not as bad as taking the death at the auto-scroller, so. All right. Man, this tadpole wants to give me a kiss, man. Like, I don't, like. Come on, Tapple, get out of here. But we do need this hermit crab. There we go. Let's stun you. Get out of here. There we go. Okay, we don't need to worry about this Tapple anymore, so. There we go. Back on track. Yeah, some of the bosses or some of the enemies you can despawn. Some of it's tricky based on position and everything like that, but made it through the stage, so that's pretty good. So, again, knock, knock, knock. Mom yelling at Nemo. What's gotten into you? Why can't you stay in bed? All right, so the next stage is probably one of the trickiest stages to play casually, Nemo's house. So it's actually quite a bit, quite a lengthy stage and quite a large stage. There's actually going to be 7 keys here, and you're actually going to be seeing a lot of the animals, a good variety of these animals popping in and everything. So we're going to be using this frog first to kind of hop on some stuff here. And again, there isn't a checkpoint in this. If you do take a death here, you actually start right at the beginning of the stage, which isn't too bad depending on where you're at. But you do have to backtrack quite a bit. There's a certain thing you can do there, which is called the basement skip, which is really advanced with a lot of runners. I have yet to get it in a run. It's one of those frame perfect kind of things that trying to get that consistent is pretty amazing. So we're going to use the lizard here to kind of go through the section. They call it the basement skip because you can actually get the B and take the B all the way down here. And it saves probably about, depending on how speedy you are, about 8 to 10 seconds. Maybe a little bit quicker if you're, really knowing the movement of the B. The other thing to mention about the bee, he actually does have a little bit of an exhaustion box here. So if I kind of use the bee a lot, he actually gets pooped and tired and actually won't fly anymore. So we're just going to kind of climb up this area here. We're going to try to do a couple damage boosts here. Okay, we got 2, so. There we go. I do want to comment that this game has some really well-touched music. It's really pretty, really simple, but it really has grown on me as a kid. I always kind of had a nice appreciation of this music. Especially as we get into the later stages here, it gets some jams going. So a lot of cat jams here. So we're going to be approaching this last section here, which this section is actually rather difficult because we're going to be using this mouse, which is my least favorite because its hitbox is huge. And you're actually using the hammer that the mouse has. Nemo's holding a hammer that he's actually going to knock some bricks down, or blocks, whatever you want to call it. Oh, shoot. That's all right. Just going to take it a little bit slow here. Not going for world records. We're not going for a Bagler or Strom Pro Bop here. The Bagler, if anybody is interested, seeing the world record of this is absolutely amazing. The Bagler 5 has an amazing run of this. Definitely check it out on YouTube. So I actually grabbed a key here. This is the last of the keys. Generally, casually, you'd go down to my left. There's a B that you would fly up to grab that. But I actually just use the power of the mouse to get that key, and that's why I liked having like an extra kind of bar of health there. Again, Mom saying, again, what does it take to get just to sleep? All right. So this is one of the cat jams here. Cloud Ruins has a good bop here, so definitely get your cat jams out. So you can do a dialogue skip here. It's super tricky, especially with, you have to bounce over a house, which you could land in a pit, which saves you 2 seconds. Cost benefit of that, I think it's not worth it. All right, and we talked about auto-scrollers. Here comes another auto-scroller here. This one isn't too bad. You're actually going up instead of left and right like the like House of Toys was. Again, I'm trying to be kind of careful with the bee with its level of exhaustion here. Gonna take a boost there. All right. Oh, I went the wrong way. That's okay. So you're actually going to clip going down this way. So we're actually going to go the attended route here casually. So we're going to be we're actually going to be taking the frog, which is right down here. So you're actually generally not supposed to do that, but it kind of saves a bunch of time here. And I'm using a candy on that little cotton ball from hell because if we were just letting him do his own thing, he'd be just in the middle of the screen, just being a big butt. All right, we're gonna wait here. Then we're gonna jump down here. Okay, try to do, there's actually a little bit of a small frame that you actually bounce going the opposite way. Saves you a few seconds, but haven't quite nailed that down just yet. And there we go with Cloud Ruins. So the next stage that we're gonna do is what's called Topsy-Turvy, which I personally have quite a bit of difficulty with. It's quite a tricky run stage to get, but it's a fun one. It actually has a really pretty song to it. We're first going to be getting the frog here. And to get this frog here, we're actually going to be using the frog quite a bit. So we're going to kind of hop around this area. We're going to hop kind of small here to grab this one key, which is kind of hidden here. So I just learned kind of a new strat. We'll see if it pays off. So we're going to do a big jump, little, oh. And that's not the strat. All right, that's okay. Thankfully, we don't have to go down in that one section there, so. So we're gonna just hop along here. Try not to get trolled. There's some cotton balls that will kind of come up here too, you know, like that guy. All right, that's what I wanted. I want to actually have that cotton ball to despawn these two monkeys, just so I can get that one key. So, just gonna take my time here. This section is really challenging for a lot of folks because you have got to use my favorite character, the mouse here. right, let's try to see if we can get this health in time. Whoo! Yeah, it's really tricky with the mouse because it's unpredictable kind of on how he wants to kind of use kind of the hammer suits and everything like that. It's just really, it's really tricky to like try to get the flow of it. So we have 7 keys total that we're going to be getting here. We're going to take this intentional hit here to boost. And then we're going to actually take one more hit. Oh, actually we don't need to. So that cotton ball just kind of went down that way, which that's fine. And there it is with Topsy-Turvy. A little sloppy, but that's not too bad. So sloppy but effective, you know? And now this is the speedrunner's favorite thing ever. It's this 2-minute cutscene that you cannot skip at all. So this is a great time for donations. No, I'm just kidding. So this is normally like, I normally, you know, time to go potty break, you know, time to go walk the dog, time to go do something in my 2 minutes while I'm just sitting here waiting for this section to come up. But what I'll explain is we're actually going to be heading to Nightmare Land. Nightmare King took King Morpheus, which is not totally accurate with the movie. It's a little bit different in the movie. But you're going into Nightmare Land trying to defeat the Nightmare King. But you are going to be received the scepter, which is you get the beam ability, which is really cool. That you're going to be you can actually kill enemies now with his beam. With the candy, you could just stun them and not actually kill them. You still have candy, you can still feed certain animals and get their abilities and stuff like that, but with the beam, you can actually knock them down, which is kind of nice. So with Nightmare Land, there's actually 3 parts of Nightmare Land. So the first nightmare stage, what we're going to be facing is King Penguin. The second nightmare stage is we're going to face a Stingray. And then the third stage is actually going to be with Nightmare King himself. So that's our lovely scepter. You can see it in full bloom there. Or I think they call it the Morning Star. I call it the scepter. They call that in the movie. But also this game was originally a comic book strip as well. The movie, I think you can actually see it on YouTube. It used to be for free. I don't know if it's still free. It's Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland. Yeah, cutscene's still going. It's again, and you know I'm hitting the start. I'm hitting the select. Nothing's happening. It's not going any faster. So. Yeah, don't fall asleep to this cutscene because then comes the big jam. Yeah, the Nightmare Land song is a jam here. So, all right, and here we are. We're gonna head to Dream 8 Nightmare Land. So, just for funsies, let's see if we can do a little bit of this boost. So you actually can do a boost like that. If you watch the world record from Stormcrow and also from the Bagler, they will do it time after time. It is unreal. I can get it like maybe 1 out of 20 shots. So the first stage is pretty straightforward. It's actually pretty short. Because we're right now at the Penguin. And this is big into RNG here. You don't know where he's coming up through, and there's actually some dead pixels that will actually heal King Penguin. And you don't even know that until like you're shooting him a bunch and you're like, why is he not dead? So. That was actually a really good fight. All right, so now we're gonna be approaching the second stage of Nightmare Land here. We call it Purple Heck. This is where the runs are meant to die here because there's a bunch of purple on the screen and we're actually gonna be doing a little bit of a glitch here. Not necessarily a glitch, more of a strat, I should say. So we're actually going to be using this lizard to help us with the strat. You'll kind of see there's a frog right up there. Casually, you're actually supposed to be taking this frog. But we're actually going to do a damage boost with the lizard here. And we got it first try. So you're not actually supposed to come here with the lizard here. You're supposed to go with the frog. So what the game will actually say is this upper part, you're supposed to die with these spikes here. Game doesn't know what Nemo is, so you can actually jump up here as high as you want. You won't get hit at all. You can still get hit by the bees and everything like that, but as you change into Nemo, you can actually take a death here. So now we're on the stingray here. And I'm actually going to do a pause strat here. Good, and we got the right pattern here. There we go. So now we're in the third part of Nightmare Land, which is the Nightmare King himself. Getting to Nightmare King is a little tricky. We got to use our animal friends here. But we're going to do a little strat. So if you can think of anything, use a piece of candy on that bee. What this bee is going to do is come our way, join us, and he's actually going to despawn these pressure plates right here. So these pressure plates are supposed to be there, but that bee, with the number of sprite counts and everything like that, it will actually cancel out those pressure plates, which is really nice. And we're actually going to do that again in a little bit here with using some of the bats. So. Again, we're going to try to use this lizard here. This is actually a pretty tricky jump to get. So again, we're going to get this bee here. So we're going to get one of our bat friends to come on over, help us out here. We're going to come and despawn these pressure plates again for us here. Okay, I'm glad that the mouse moved. That mouse actually can move towards you and boost you away from things, and that is not fun. Also to note, casually-wise, if you do take a game over in Nightmare Land, you start at the first level of Nightmare Land. So if I took a game over here, I'd have to start all the way back in Nightmare Land Part 1, which is casually sucks. Speedrun sucks even worse. So, but we have 4 lives. We should be good to go with this. So I'm actually going to get rid of. There's also a couple 1-up lives up there that you can get if you're just kind of playing this for the first time. So we are approaching Nightmare Land, and time will end after Nemo stops moving. And now I'll let you know what that is. So this is actually a set pattern here that Nightmare Land will do. You have to give him 9 full shots, and you have like this little blob thing that kind of pops out of his mouth. I mean, he needs to have a Pepto-Bismol or something because that's just nasty. He needs to see a doctor about that. take your time here. There we go. And time. Not bad, not bad. Couple brutal deaths, but it's a pretty decent game. Like, definitely.
When I was a kid, I could.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this game is definitely, it's a super fun speed run. You can kind of, like, casually, like, it takes a few hours to beat it, but, like, definitely for a speed run, like, 30 minutes is a very solid time for it, you know, so, yeah. So I appreciate it, appreciate the NES Block and everything like that, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.